Okay, Thursday the 24th. This homework is about complex numbers. What is a complex number, you say? Well, it's made up of two parts. A real part, that's this A, and an imaginary part. So what are imaginary numbers? That's our question, huh? Well, when you take the square root of a negative number, you get imaginary values, right? And so this number here is, we can't do it. Type it in your calculator. There's no answer. But if we say that -1 is times +4, then we can solve this part, right? And then we just have to define imaginary numbers as the answer to the square root of -1. So the square root of -1 is I. That's the answer. So if this is the square root of 4 times this, well, then this is just 2i. Right? Yay! So the square root of -9 would be 3i. Where'd it go? And the square root of -25 would be 5i. Hurrah! See how easy that is? Now, what happens if you have a number like this? Well, you gotta, whoops, there's gotta be a negative in there. Hoo-hoo. There we go. -20. You gotta break it down into all its little pieces. We know -1 is in there. We know 4 times 5 is 20. So this is I. And this is 2. So that's 2i. And then this has to stay under the radical. That's the answer. Let's try another one. What if we had -28 underneath there? Well, then I know that that's -1, whoops, -1, and 4, and 7. Well, this is 2i right here. 2i, radical 7. Ta-da! Let's try something else. Something real tricky. What would that be? Well, we could do a number that doesn't have a square root, like the square root of 19. Still, that's -1 times 19. I know this is I, and I don't know the square root of 19, so this is the answer. Right? These are all the answers. Let's try one more that we have to break down. Let's try something like 3 times the square root of -50. Okay? Well, let's go. I know that's 3 times the square root of -1, because that makes that. And then 50 is 25 times 2. Yes? Yes. Okay. So we know this is 5i, right? -25, that's 5i. Times 3. So 5 times I times 3, that would be 15i radical 2. Yay! So that's that one. Okay? That's what you're doing on today's worksheet. No problem. Whoops, we're dealing with imaginary numbers on today's worksheet. We'll get to complex numbers tomorrow. Imaginary numbers are what we're doing with today. Okay? Good deal. Bye.